Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, sharing with you this game's with your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. One of the best games on the PSP has been remade. Is this FF7 prequel worth discovering? Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is available on PC, Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation, where it will set you back $40. And the game is about 20-ish hours long, and a couple of hours if you actually want to try and complete everything. So what exactly is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion? Well, it's a game with too long of a title, so from now on, I'm just gonna call it Crisis Core. And Crisis Core is an action RPG set in the Final Fantasy VII universe with an emphasis on hack and slash combat, setting up the story to FF7 and a slot machine. Yeah, really. You play as Zack, an important if understated character from the original Final Fantasy VII game, who is a member of Shinra's soldier team and wants to advance up the ranks. However, he quickly gets woven into a plot around several possible deserters and traitors to the soldier cause, one of them being his friend and mentor. So he teams up with Sephiroth, as well as a few other side characters from Final Fantasy VII, to figure out exactly what is going on and set up the events for that game. The game's story is broken up into several large chapters, most of which are linear affairs peppered with combat scenarios and story beats, with an absolutely insane number of side missions you're expected to do to earn equipment and levels between them, or during them even. These side missions are also usually just small linear affairs on the maps from the story chapters, just more gated off, further emphasizing the fact this game was all about its combat. And the combat is certainly the stars, with the remasters even more flashy, fast-paced, and fun to control. Zack can equip 4, later 6 materia before a battle, and these give him either MP costing magic or SP costing abilities, which he can use as he dashes around the battlefield. As you play through the game, your materia will level up, and shortly after beginning, you will actually be able to start fusing materia to make better materia. The materia subgame is kind of its own little puzzle on its own, as you can get access to much stronger stuff much earlier if you know how to game it. Aside from using his various abilities, Zack can mash at an enemy with the attack button, with more damage being dealt if you hit them from behind, meaning positioning is extremely important when it comes to your combat. Combat is also enhanced by the DMW or slot machine. Throughout the battle, it cycles through various combos of numbers and characters that Zack knows, and when stuff lines up, you get boosts. These range from limit breaks to temporary infinite MP, all the way up to summons, or making you immune to a certain class of damage. Zack and his materia also level up via the slot machine in a weird saga reference, which is interesting. And honestly, that's the gist of it. Crisis Core is an action RPG with some engaging and flashy combat, and the rest of the game kind of feeds into that system. What do I like about Crisis Core? Well, the combat is the highlight here, and while it can be a bit mashy, the strategy around getting behind enemies, exploiting weaknesses, and dodging attacks really makes it engaging and flashy. Additionally, there are tons of quality of life improvements over the PSP version that make this game shine, particularly in that aforementioned combat, as well as a lot of great quality of life improvements, and of course the graphical facelift. And the loop is still super addicting, with bite-sized missions feeding into powering up Zack and giving cool options, the materia fusion allowing some game-breaking powers, and it all making the already excellent combat feel even more excellent. It really can hook you. When it comes to the bad, man, a lot of this game's dialogue is just terribly stilted, with some awkward lines, jokes, and some generally weird story pacings marring an otherwise interesting story. Additionally, side missions, as mentioned, are insanely linear and often very, very short. Some I would beat in less than 2 minutes. It's clearly this way because it was designed for the PSP, but they haven't really changed or updated to make them more interesting. And lastly, if you aren't a fan or at least familiar with Final Fantasy VII, this game doesn't do a whole lot to introduce you to the world, characters, nuance, etc., meaning you will probably be confused very early. This is a game definitely for fans. As you know, rating at 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I think this Crisis Core remake is a maybe consider, but it is definitely a hidden gem. If you like Final Fantasy VII in any of its many iterations, you should definitely check this one out. While some of the writing definitely feels a bit underbaked, and the game definitely has a lot of quirks it carried over from its handheld days, Crisis Core is still an incredibly engaging, addicting, and most importantly, fun RPG hack and slash experience. And I will say, I did buy the PS5 version, and I kind of wish I bought the Switch one because I think it would feel right at home there. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Crisis Core? Did you play the original PSP version? I did, but I never actually beat it, so I was glad to be able to rectify that now. Let me know in the comments, but regardless, check this one out.